there's a very simple task for this video today. I already have 3 options here in regards to things that could possibly happen to Law. Oh wait, spoiler alert. If you haven't read the chapter, you will be spoiled because we're going to talk about Law. Sorry. I have 3 options laid out, but what I want you to do is lay out your scenario in the comment section before getting past this point. Whomever comes up with the closest scenario will get a shout out in the next video. So, very simple, but let's continue. Now for everyone else, if you haven't done so, it will be greatly appreciated if you subscribe to the channel. And also if you're new, just say what's up. But let's continue. First scenario, Law dies and Blackbeard takes his devil fruit. This is the most likely scenario, or I guess the most logical, considering everything that's transpiring right now. Our boy Law, and I have personal investment in this. My channel name is B.D.A. freaking Law. Our boy Law, he is currently surrounded by not only Blackbeard, a Yonko of the seas, and the man that is currently sporting, as we know it, 2 devil fruits, but also Jesus Burgess, and from now we know has a buff fruit, Van Augur, and now as we know has a warp fruit, and then also Doc Q, and now as we know has a sick fruit. It's a sick Negro, but also we cannot forget our boy Stronger, his trusted companion, who, guys, he has a mythical Zoan fruit. So Blackbeard was not joking when he said he's gonna get his boys right. He got them together and he got them some of the best fruits that we've heard of in the story. Regardless, Law is currently surrounded by all these characters, and yes, he has his crew with him. I'm not sure if that's a benefit or a detriment, but those people are currently with him. There's not much Law can do in this situation. Yes, I am well aware. Law can probably mimic every devil fruit that they currently have, probably save for Blackbeard that can nullify devil fruits, and I'm not sure if Law can create quakes, but I'm willing to see him try. I mean, for the most part, Puncture Willie did pretty much detonate the earth, but can he move the tectonic plates that Blackbeard currently can? I don't know. Either way, Law can warp, Law can throw mountains, and Law can do some pretty sick things with his devil fruit. He is currently surrounded and outmatched and outgunned, even though he's there with his entire crew. Yes, at some point his crew will intervene, and they might make it interesting for a minute, but you can't forget, Blackbeard is a fully fledged Yonko crew, and I agree, he doesn't have all of the people with him, but let's play this out. Law's fighting everyone. At the end of the day, Blackbeard and his crew, they would overwhelm Law and his crewmates, and that would lead to Law ultimately dying and Blackbeard taking his devil fruit. But where does that lead to? What is the purpose of that? In my opinion, there's no purpose there, considering everything that's been built up for Law in regards to finding out about the Will of D. You may be saying, Prago, what build up? Well, the conversation with Sengoku at the end of Dressrosa, I feel like that has some significance because the Will of D is very important to Law and also in connection to Corazon. So in tandem, that's pretty important. Also, Law was with them in the Whale Tree, Law was with them when he found out about the poneglyphs, and at the end of Wano, we can't forget about the Pluton, and also Law found out about the other road poneglyph. I never thought Law was going to be the one to find the One Piece. It didn't make sense because he had no one to translate the poneglyphs unless he kidnapped Nico Robin, and that's just not in his nature in regards to his connection to the Straw Hats. So this leads nowhere. Blackbeard gets the Opiopi no Mi and then does what with it? He doesn't have a doctor as we know. I mean, Doc Q, I guess he could be a doctor, but he already has a devil fruit. So getting this fruit, you have to know about surgery. You have to go and study and train. Blackbeard does not have that type of time and doesn't seem like his forte. So as logical as this is, I don't think this is the case. Number 2, Law doesn't die, but Blackbeard takes him hostage. This is very logical as well, considering what Law can do and considering what Blackbeard did in a previous chapter. Yes, Blackbeard currently has the Pink Mamba. That is a nickname that my friends came up with, and we're gonna run with it. Either way, this is very logical. Blackbeard defeats Law, but he realizes Law could be very valuable, and if Blackbeard knows about the immortality surgery, oh man, I feel bad for our boy. Now, I don't think Law would ever do it, right? Blackbeard would probably have to kill him before he does it, but in the meantime, you can come with me because you have a 3 billion berry bounty, so even if I decide to turn you in, it makes me a very rich man. So let's play out that scenario, okay? So Blackbeard, he apprehends Law, he throws him in jail on his ship, then they move on, and I guess he tries to convince Law to use the immortality surgery on him, predicting that he does know about it. If Law decides not to do it, then ultimately he kills him, takes his devil fruit. In my opinion, it doesn't really lead anywhere because Blackbeard being immortal, and then in addition to that, having 2 or maybe 3 devil fruits. Oh no, what are you trying to spin here? So that's why, even though it's logical, I don't see the scenario playing out. Now, time for scenario number 3. Law doesn't die, and Blackbeard just takes the poneglyph rubbing. Well, yes, this is a very interesting one because this is not logical. Why? Because we've seen Blackbeard in situations like this before, right? He's either going to capture you or he's going to kill you, right? Ace and Thatch, they can talk about that. And in this scenario, even though Law technically is not who he's just after his rubbings, right? Law has a 3 billion berry bounty. Law is a member of the worst generation as well. That is considerable clout if Blackbeard can apprehend Law and just, I don't know, dangle him around as, hey, this is one of my trophies from these guys that took down Kaido. Look at what I just did to him. Let's say Blackbeard goes there, right? We're going to play out this scenario. Blackbeard goes and he defeats Law and then he just walks away. He takes the poneglyph rubbing and he just leaves him there and he's in pretty bad shape. His crewmates are messed up as well, but they're not nearly in as bad shape as Law is. So what do they do? Well, in this scenario, there are only a few options. And one of the options is taking Law to Egghead. Yes, we're not really sure exactly where Law is. However, the trajectory where Law was going, it was leading to Hachinosu. So it's not looking good for our boy. Now, Blackbeard, I give him all the credit in the world because he was staying and waiting for one of them. I would have loved for it to be Luffy, but it is too soon, right? Sound like Shanks. It is too soon for Blackbeard and Luffy to meet because Blackbeard has to meet Shanks, but Luffy has to meet Shanks before that. So Law was the best option. We don't know what Oda's plan for Kid is, so we can't just say, well, I wish it was Kid. Well, goddammit, I wish it was Kid. Okay, I wish it wasn't Law. Law, I hate it had to be you, but someone has to take the L here versus Blackbeard, and it's going to be Law. Now, again, the reason why I'm saying it's illogical because Blackbeard just walking away from Law, even though he's vulnerable and he can take his devil fruit or he can just take him to acquire his bounty, doesn't make sense. Scenario 3, even though it's the most illogical option, I think it's the most likely option. Now, playing that out, Law's crewmates rushing him to Egghead because he's on the brink of death, Luffy meeting up again, and Law basically saying, hey, Blackbeard took the rubbing. Blackbeard is on the verge of acquiring the poneglyphs, and in the meantime, it could be revealed that Blackbeard also acquired Pudding, and we may have a full Pudding retrieval arc. Or in another scenario, Luffy finds out there's a Law retrieval arc. Or in another scenario, the Luffy finds out there's a Law revenge arc. Either way, Oda's put himself in a position in which it's only great shit that can come from this. Because Law is, for all intents and purposes, one of our favorite characters, right? He's been with us pretty much the entirety of the post-time skip. And if you're telling us just right after Law helped us defeat 2 of the Yonko, he dies to Blackbeard. Now, Blackbeard, I would be very happy if Blackbeard caught a body here, even though I'd be sad at the same time, because it just builds up that threat, and that Luffy versus Blackbeard fight has a lot more emotion to it. Not saying it needs any more, considering what Blackbeard did to Ace, which for all intents and purposes was Ace's fault, but it makes it hype, man. Just killing Law or even taking him hostage, he already has Kobe. And if Luffy finds out about what he did to Boa Hancock or just how much he was manhandling Boa Hancock, I don't know, things may get a bit spicy between the two. Either way, guys, I need your help. You need to let me know what's the most likely scenario, and if there are any other outliers, well, okay. There are a couple, and the one that I hate the most is Shanks pulling up again. Oh my goodness, guys. Blackbeard, it is not time for Blackbeard and Shanks to meet again, and it would feel so redundant considering what just happened with Green Bull and Shanks. What are you doing here? Like, why would Shanks pull up again? The other scenario is Rayleigh pulling up. Why would we want Rayleigh to pull up to save Law? It's illogical. And the only other person, right, that I can see pulling up that I guess would somewhat make sense is Sengoku, right? But why is Sengoku in the vicinity of Hachinosu, Sphinx? And what? The thing that makes the most sense is Blackbeard getting his rubbing because he acquired Pudding. He then gets the Zou poneglyph and the Wano poneglyph. And there's a scenario there if Oda doesn't show that Blackbeard acquires the Zou poneglyph from Law, which wouldn't make sense. Then there's a way in which Blackbeard could possibly take Beppo to get to Zou, but it feels like too long and a rigmarole. You could just have Blackbeard take Zou's poneglyph right here, and then he has 3, and therefore he would be tied with Luffy with having 3 world poneglyphs and also someone that can transcribe the actual poneglyphs. Now, isn't that scary? Did you think of that scenario? Because that's probably the most likely. I lied to you guys, right? It wasn't 3, it was 17. Okay, guys, give me your thoughts. What do you think is most likely? Scenario 1, scenario 2, 3, or 7? I don't know. Which one do you like the most? Which one do you see playing out the best? Give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BroggerDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BroggerD.ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, guys, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost.